you're a mom as well, right? You got a couple kids,
Yes, I do. Yeah, 11-year-old and a 7-year-old.
boy and girl, or girls.
Older boy, younger girl. Yeah.
So, how has what you've learned affected how you teach your kids? Are your kids excited to be in real estate as well? Or are they like, oh no, mom, quit talking about it? That kind of stuff. Or some of the lessons learned from Rich Dad Poor Dad and other things along the way. What are you instilling in your kids?
Yeah, it's a great question, right? And obviously it's always age appropriate, but
Right.
for me and Matt, we do monthly meetings with our kids. And so we like to call it like they get like a they don't get allowance, but they get like a monthly stipend.
Mhm.
And there's certain chores that are associated to that, right? So and then we'll talk about a project. So one time we were in a building that had a bunch of little restaurants, and it was all they you could tell it was one of those converted factories, and it was basically all these different restaurants, shops, really cool space in here in a town called Doylestown, Pennsylvania. Anyway, we started talking about, we were like, this is a great property to talk about real estate investing, because there's a landlord, there's different tenants. So the kids went around, they did like a little project. They're like, okay, what would you be able to get for this space? And then they put, square footage. I mean, we help them, but it got their wheels turning, right? So I feel like it's not always like, okay, kids, I'm going to teach you a real estate lesson. It's more of like where we are and how we're doing things. Obviously, give, spend, you're always giving, you're always spending, not always spending, but there's a place for investing and giving and it's certainly, what does that look like? I think the other big thing we're doing is getting one of the whys for us for our local project, beyond just wanting to get our creative juices going. And we haven't done a flip in a few years, was actually to have our kids learn the process and really to be involved in a local project. We were so locally involved early on, where we were doing everything. We were in it. Like we didn't have kids for 8 years. So they didn't see any of that. Then they were born when we started buying apartment complexes further away from us. So again, they didn't see that kind of sweat, blood, and tears as we started. So we really, not that they need to see us blood, sweat, and tears, but I want them to see local projects